If you saw my most recent happy story about a family in Minnesota that saved almost $100,000, you're thinking, there is no way that that's true, but it is true. And every time we have a family that achieves really great success homeschooling for college credit, I always invite them to send me their story. Now, sending me their story, I still am going to check their math, right, to make sure that it's true. But in this case, it was true. And so it was a perfect story to share with you guys because what this family did was not that different from what all of you can do. And so this is a very real story using real strategies, and I'm going to dissect this happy story for you in this episode. I'm Jennifer Cook DeRosa with Homeschooling for College Credit, and we help families bring college credit into their homeschool so that they can save money on college and make college affordable. So in this case, the parent, Carol, she lives in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, they have access to a college credit program for high school students called PSEO. And PSEO is just their brand of post-secondary enrollment options called dual enrollment. Every state has their own name for it, so in your state it's going to be something different. And what they did was they paired that with another strategy, which is using credit by exam. And in this case, CLEP is the brand that they chose. Now, one really cool thing about using CLEP among homeschoolers is that you can choose the curriculum that you use. It doesn't have to be a specific brand, whereas if you're using advanced placement, it really does have to be tied to that exam. But with CLEP, it can be anything. And in this case, the family was a Christian family, so they used Christian content to help prepare for these CLEP exams. So that's something that you can do that's a nice way to customize your students' learning. So in this case, their target school was the University of Northwestern St. Paul, and that's a private Christian university in Minnesota. So the 2025-26 tuition and fees have the price of attending that college as $35,000 a year, and then an additional $10,000 per year in room and board. So of course, this is $45,000 per year. So every year that you can shave off the amount of time that your student has to go there, that's going to save you a significant amount of money. And this is an expensive college, but it's not the most expensive college. And so at $35,000 per year in tuition, they tend to be on the bottom 50% as far as what some of these very expensive private schools are charging. So for this family to want to send their student here, any of the cost savings is going to be really important. One other thing I want to add as we kind of dissect this is that there's more to it than just saving money. There's also saving time. And when you're thinking about your kids going to college, think about the time as being years away from their occupation. So if your student graduates from college and they're working in their profession and their profession pays $50,000 a year, really their earning potential is that much more improved when they can get out and start working. So every year that they spend in college is a year that they're not earning a paycheck. So getting out there is also very important. Now, in this case, we're talking about marrying CLEP exams and also using dual enrollment. So let's talk about this for a second. This exam list here contains a second brand, which is DSST. DSST is similar to CLEP in that it's a multiple choice standardized exam that you can take on your computer at home and you can earn potential college credit. So in this case, the family did do that. Now, one of the things that you can always do is you can look up the policy of CLEP acceptance at the colleges that you're considering. Now, this is not a guarantee because colleges can and do change their CLEP policies from year to year. But as an example, at the University of Northwestern's website, you can see that they have an entire page here that's dedicated to the different types of credit by exam, what the student can earn as far as the college credit, and how that's going to look when your student is trying to transfer those credits into the college. So here they've got actually traditional undergrad and then adult undergrad. So it appears as though these are going to be different policies. So if that's the case with you, you're going to want to check those and make sure. If you look here, you can see that, for instance, if the student takes the CLEP French language exam, that it's worth 8 college credits. So that's the type of table that you're going to use to plan. Now, one really great thing about credit by exam, specifically CLEP, is that you can align these CLEP exams right into your homeschool curriculum. So you don't have to do much extra in order to get this college credit. There's a nonprofit organization called Modern States. They will give you a voucher, which is like a coupon, to take your CLEP exam for free if you complete one of their prep courses. So this isn't homeschool curriculum, but it is a prep course that you can put at the end of your homeschool semester so that your student can kind of study for and then take the CLEP exam that matches up with the curriculum that you're already doing. So if you think about the program here that was featured in our happy story, we have the CLEP Spanish exam for 16 credits. So this isn't something that this family just woke up one day and said, I'm going to test out a Spanish. This is clearly the result of many years of high school level Spanish, and then the student took the CLEP exam and passed and received 16 potential college credits at this specific university. So this is an example of how, when I say it's not much extra work, it's because the family's already using their homeschool program to prepare for high school and college credits simultaneously. The same here could be said with like Western Civ. So the student is studying Western Civ. Western Civ 1 would be taken at the halfway point, like around Christmas break, and then Western Civ 2 would be taken at the end of the school year in May or June when the student finishes the grade. So you're not really adding any extra work. You're just using CLEP exam kind of as a final exam. Okay, so in this case, they earned 30 college credits just through CLEP and also DSST. So that is more than 1 year of college credit that's earned completely for free, with the exception of the cost of the exam. Now, the DSST exams do carry a cost. The CLEP exams, you can get the waiver, but these are going to be under $100 per exam, even if you don't use Modern States, so super affordable. Now, the PSEO, which is the community college or a 4-year college dual enrollment program in her state, those are going to be classes that you take in a traditional way, either in person or online. And those are going to be more typical in terms of they're going to be a college class with a professor through a regular semester, and that student is going to get a grade and have a transcript. So those are going to be instead of a homeschool curriculum, not in addition to it, where a credit by exam is going to be in addition to what you're already doing at home. So one thing to keep in mind if you're combining a dual enrollment program with a credit by exam program is that you're going to want to make sure that you don't duplicate any of the credit. So while it can get a little bit tricky, there are some very easy things to look out for. So for instance, since the student is getting Spanish credit, for instance, you're going to not take any Spanish credits through dual enrollment because those are going to duplicate. And no one's going to tell you not to do it. You have to advocate for yourself here and make sure that it's not going to duplicate, because no one's going to tell you that you can't do this. But what's going to happen is ultimately when you end up enrolling in college, they're going to evaluate all of your credits from credit by exam and from dual enrollment. They're going to look and they're going to sort out, and if any of them duplicate, they're going to throw out one. So you're only going to get credit once for the knowledge that you earned. So the student wouldn't take Western Civ 1 and 2 as a dual enrollment course because they've already passed the CLEP. The same here with the CLEP College Composition, which is basically English 101, here the World Religions course, and then here Health and Human Development. So again, these are courses that you're not going to want to take as PSEO or as dual enrollment. But by combining these together, she was able to have her student earn enough credit that they ended up saving, what did she say, $96,780. So can you beat that? That's amazing, right? And that's how they did it. So I'm going to put a link to this happy story in the bottom in the comments so that you can read all of the details. And until next time, when we dive into more examples of how you can save, I'm Jennifer. Have a great day.